Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. Today we are getting into our human design series, starting with type. So, if you are a generator, this is your video to learn more about how your type functions and how your energy is best utilized in the world. But first, a little introduction on human design. So, human design is a tool that can be used for both divination and self actualization. It can assist us as we take our ceaseless journey towards our own self discovery and hold us accountable both for acknowledging our shortcomings and our gifts in this world. It's like a built in navigation tool that draws us towards our greatest alignment. Now, human design is an experiment, and it's not just knowledge to obtain for the sake of knowledge, it's knowledge to be utilized in a tangible way to help bring you towards your most authentic self and your most authentic joy. It can truly offer radical transformation in your life if you're ready to accept the responsibility of the action. And I believe it's important to note that human design isn't a dogma or a religion. You can actually use it in congruence with any spirituality you follow. It's more of a metaphysical science that helps us just obtain our greatest authentic joy in this world. And of course, if you'd like more in depth information on the history and how human design began, definitely check out my post on my Patreon. I have it linked in my bio below if you are interested in learning more. For now, let's talk about generators, which makes up 37% of the world population. You're considered a generator if you have a defined sacral center with no motor centers connected to your throat. And the motor centers are the heart, the sacral, the root, and the solar plexus. Now, generators have a magnetic aura, which means they attract everything they need from people to energy to situations that will help bring them into alignment with their life path with little to no effort. And just to emphasize, generators are not here to initiate. Generators are designed to respond to what is in their environment. And if you have any generators in your life, or if you are a generator, you will understand that they have boundless energy. They're like the energizer bunny that when they start something, they will run, 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 see it all the way through to the finish, and then immediately jump to the next thing because they are meant to utilize the sacral energy that they have. So throughout the day, they're spending their energy. So once they go to sleep, all of that sacral energy is used up and they can fall asleep feeling satisfied and fulfilled with the work they did throughout the day. And that last bit is really important because unless that sacral energy is used up to its fullest capacity, generators will have a difficult time actually falling asleep because there's still energy buzzing within them that needs to be released somehow. So if you or your loved one or any of your friends get the nighttime zoomies, they may likely be generators or manifesting generators that still have that bit of sacral energy left within them. And it is a really good thing that generators have this boundless amount of expansive energy because they are here on this earth to become masters at their craft and masters at what they love to do. And the way they can best do that is by only going after the work that lights them up and gives them that sense of excitement from within. They have a gift of taking the visions and the ideas of manifestors and bringing those ideas into tangible reality so people can actually utilize the visionary nature of manifestors through the energy of through the energy of generators. But one thing for generators to be mindful of is just because they have the energy to do something doesn't mean they should be doing it. They should not be saying yes to anything that does not give them that sense of excitement. Because one thing about generators is once they start something, they have a built in desire to finish it through to the end. But if they're doing things that don't light them up, they're actually draining their energy. Versus when they do things that light them up, they get more energy from that work. So if you're just saying yes to your friends, your loved ones, or to random things that come your way, just because you say, I have the energy to do it, I might as well do it, you are actually doing yourself a disservice and draining your energy more quickly than if you were to do things only that light you up. And the more you say yes to things that don't actually align with you, the more you're falling into people pleasing tendencies and what we call your not self theme in human design, which essentially just pulls you out of alignment altogether and makes it that much more difficult to kind of get yourself back on track in your own energy, in your own authority. And the line to remember with generators is just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Follow your authority, which we will get to in another video if you're not sure what that means, and really let yourself be guided by that inner excitement. Be guided by the inner light that just sparks up whenever something feels aligned and right for you. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, generators are sacral beings, which means their responses to their external environment should never come from the mind. It should come from the gut. It should come from a feeling in the body. And your responses will always be a spontaneous reaction to something in your external environment. And the best way to acknowledge if something is a yes or a no is to quite literally listen to your body. In human design, there's something known as the sacral grunt, which means if something feels like a yes, you might quite literally say, like if a food sounds good to eat, you'll say, or if something sounds like a good idea, you go, It'll be like a drawing you towards it. Versus if something that you want to eat doesn't sound appetizing, you might go, no, It's a spontaneous response and it's a vocal response. It's something that you feel in your gut and your body just naturally responds to it in a way that aligns with what is correct versus what is not correct. And that sacral yes or sacral no is what's going to help you keep in alignment with yourself. So if an opportunity presents itself to you and immediately like, you can feel your head shaking no, and you feel like, that's a no. Don't apologize for saying no because you're staying in alignment by saying no. If something lights you up and you say, that is a yes, and you should follow that yes. And it's important to note that if something comes around and you're not quite sure about it in that moment, if you're not a positive 100% yes, it's a no, even if it's a no for now. It might be a yes later, but in that present moment, your sacral is telling you, nope, not right now. And you should acknowledge that and listen to it and follow it. And a great way to get in touch with your sacral yes or your sacral no, if you're not sure how to listen to it yet, is just by asking it yourself really low ball questions, things that don't have much of a bearing on your everyday life. So if you wake up in the morning and you're wondering what you want for breakfast, you can ask yourself, do I want eggs for breakfast? Do I want pancakes for breakfast? And that's another thing. The is a maybe, which means yes, but maybe not right now, or no later, something along those lines. And then you keep asking yourself, do I want cereal? Do I want yogurt? So eat yogurt for breakfast. That is one really easy way and practical way that you can get in touch with that sacral response. So you know what to listen out for when it comes to you for the bigger decisions that you make in your life. And just to emphasize again, generators should only be saying yes and responding to the things that bring them joy, that light them up from the inside, because generators doing work that lights them up, brings them to the mastery they need to help progress the world's evolution. And not only that, generators' excitement for what they do, the lighting up that they feel inside, also helps inspire others to find their own excitement in the world. So even if they're not generators or manifesting generators, they are being inspired by the energy generated by generators when they are following their true passions. A really easy identifier for when a generator says yes to something that's not in alignment is their not self theme, which in this case is frustration. If generators say yes to something just because they have the energy to do it and they don't want somebody else to bear the burden, they might feel really, really frustrated with whatever that action is. And for somebody else, it could be something so simple. Let's take algebra, for example. Some people, algebra is a breeze and it's easy and it's something that they can just do naturally. Versus if a generator that algebra is not aligned to, if it's not in their path and their greatest alignment, they will get so frustrated with what somebody else seems the simplest of equations, the simplest of problems. And it's not because they are incapable. It's not because they are lacking in some sort of intelligence. It's because they are not aligned to that frequency. They are not meant to pursue algebra at a deeper level. So that's why their frustration comes in because it is not aligned to them. It's not something that excites them. So for generators, they are using up their sacral energy trying to force something that does not. And along with that frustration comes exhaustion. Like I mentioned earlier, when generators are doing things out of alignment, let me say this, when they're working and doing things in alignment, the work they do brings them more energy to continue the work. Versus when they're doing things out of alignment, trying to force that work drains their energy and leads to exhaustion before that sacral energy is even used up. So they're not even able to obtain that mastery and tap into that excitement day by day because they're so drained and can't progress any further. This would also lead to a dissatisfaction with life and honestly feeling like life is boring, which generators should never feel. When generators are in true alignment, every day is an opportunity for more excitement and more passion and the capability of bringing more visions into tangible reality. So if you're feeling dissatisfied with life, if you feel like you're not in alignment with where you need to be, that's because you're working through your not self. You're connected to your frustration and you're disconnected from your sacral being. Take frustration as the first alarm bell to say, wait, maybe I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Let's finish up this project because, again, generators have to see things through to the end, but let's not say yes to the next one. Let's make sure I'm only saying yes in the future to the things that feel like a yes, overwhelmingly feel like a yes, overwhelmingly excite me and light me up. And while we have our not self theme as frustration, the signature theme, or the theme that you'll feel when you're in alignment, is satisfaction, overwhelming satisfaction. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. When generators are connected to their passions and doing work that lights them up and being fueled by the work they do so they can continue to do more work, and that sacral is lit up all day like a fire, just overwhelming logs and logs and logs put on this fire to keep it going. At night, when they go to fall asleep after all of that sacral energy is used up and the logs turn into tinders, they feel really satisfied and at peace with the work they did that day. They feel fulfilled with the work they did that day. They feel lit up by the fact that they were able to put so much energy and effort into what they love. And that drives them to have the greatest night of sleep they need so then they can wake up the next day and do it all over again. Again, generators, you are passionate and enthusiastic beings. You are here to inspire and energize the world through your own energy. If you are not waking up every day feeling excited and inspired by who you are and what you do, it's time to reflect and decide where to go next and how you can bring yourself back into alignment little by little. And if you do find you're out of alignment, you don't have to jump back into alignment overnight. You can take small steps and again, listen to those sacral responses. Not only listen, but trust those sacral responses enough to guide them back towards your greatest alignment. Every small decision you make is bringing you back to that sacral alignment. So trust it when it comes up, even if it's the most mundane of decisions. Trust those responses. Trust them enough to follow them. Say yes to what feels like a yes and say no to what feels like a no, and you will be divinely guided in every direction you need to go. Generators, you are amazing. You are the Energizer bunnies, and you are what keeps this world moving. Your work is worth it, especially when you are aligned. So, again, if you find yourself out of alignment, just trust those sacral responses. Trust those sacral responses. If you're feeling frustrated, what can you do to change your environment, to change your responses so you can move to that satisfaction? You are here to help inspire the world, and you are capable of doing that when you're in alignment. I love you, generators. You are amazing.